I really don't like Picard Season 1 or Season 2 or New Trek in general, but I'm actually looking forward to Picard Season 3.
I think that's the truth.
Hi guys, Geezer64 here, and today I'm talking about Picard Season 3. That's right, it's a Star Trek video. I've done a lot of Star Trek videos on the channel. I've reviewed every episode of Season 2, and as I said, I'm not a fan of a New Trek. I'm not a fan of Picard Season 1 and Season 2. I'm not going to go too deep into that because I've done a whole video essay explaining why I think New Trek is not Star Trek. I'll link that at the end of this video if you're curious, but really what I want to talk about is Picard Season 3 is about to premiere in just a few days as of filming this, and I want to get into why I am actually looking forward to Picard Season 3. Honestly, this clip probably sums up how I've been treated, or how I feel like I've been treated by New Trek.
Larry! Larry, you can't just... Oh,
Larry! Oh, are you all right? How did...
Larry!
So with all that out of the way, let's get into the particulars of the video, which is me talking about why I'm kind of looking forward to Picard Season 3, despite the massive disappointment in being slapped in the face over and over again by New Trek. That's the point of the video. That's what we're going to jump into first. First and foremost, there is a new head for Picard Season 3. Without this new showrunner, I would not care or be excited about Picard Season 3. I think this is the core reason why I'm kind of looking forward to it. So Terry Matalas is the sole showrunner this season, which means there's no Akiva Goldsman, there's no Michael Chabon, there's no Alex Kurtzman. Terry Matalas was given full creative control from everything I've seen to do Season 3. So that means a complete showrunner, creative head making all of the decisions. A new guy in there. And I think he's a Star Trek fan based on everything I've seen. So, but let's get into it. Who is Terry Matalas? So he started as an intern on Deep Space Nine. He worked as an assistant on Voyager and Enterprise. He is listed as a writer on 2 Enterprise episodes, Impulse and Stratagem. The other thing he's really well known for is as the co-creator of and showrunner of the 12 Monkeys show, which I have not seen, but I've heard pretty good things about. The negative side, he is listed as a writer on a few episodes of Picard Season 2. Not a good thing. However, the way that they were filming Picard Season 2 and Season 3 in order to save on budget, they were basically shooting these things back to back. So I don't really think that he was spending a whole lot of his efforts on Picard Season 2. He was definitely focusing all of his efforts on showrunning his own season, because that's the one he actually had creative control over versus, writing a script for Season 2. So I don't really think him being listed as a writer on a few episodes of Picard Season 2 should count as a knock against him, because there are some actual reasons as to why I don't think he really had much control. He doesn't have control as far as what was executed in Picard Season 2. So with Goldsman, Chabon, and Kurtzman, as I said, with them out of the way, I'm interested to see what Terry Matalas does. I'm interested in seeing a new creative head in there, and in particular, listening to him in interviews, which I'm going to get into in a second. Listening to him in interviews, he seems like he's an actual Star Trek fan, which is something that's been sorely lacking. Terry Matalas seems to have knowledge of Star Trek and is a fan of Star Trek and kind of understands the core of what Star Trek is. And this all brings me to why I even know any of this stuff, is Robert Myer Burnett. Some of you may know Robert Myer Burnett, some of you may not. If you are a fan who's critical of New Trek, you've probably heard from him. Even if you like New Trek, you've probably heard of him. He is a bigger voice in the Star Trek community, and he has a YouTube channel called The Post Geek Singularity. Now, when I subbed to it, it was the Burnett work, and he may have actually switched back to the Burnett work. I'm not sure. I think the Burnett work is a better name, by the way. Stick with Burnett work. Not big on the Post Geek Singularity. But either way, Robert Myer Burnett is critical of New Trek. He has explained why he's critical of New Trek. He somehow got his hands on Picard Season 3 and watched it months and months ago, and he liked it, and he talked about that on his channel, and I was really surprised by the fact that he liked it. I mean, because he doesn't like any of the other New Trek stuff, much like me. Now, Rob Myer Burnett has some other takes on some other things, movies and such, that I definitely don't agree with, particularly when it comes to superhero movies. But when it comes to Star Trek, like, I'm definitely on the same page with his critiques of New Trek and why it isn't Star Trek. but he said he's watched Picard season 3 times all the way through, 10 episodes. That means that he liked it. That's surprising.
That's shocking.
And he had Terry Matalas on his show to talk about Star Trek twice now. There's 2 different videos. You can watch them right now. And that's what made me buy into the fact that Terry Matalas is actually a fan of Star Trek, just listening to him talk about it. And as I said, that's something that's been sorely lacking from New Trek. Some people have been calling Robert Myer Burnett a shill. I've seen some comments about this. I've seen comments in the live stream, and you know, that the internet's gonna internet, okay? It's just gonna happen. But I think anybody who actually has followed Robert Myer Burnett, listened to his critiques of New Trek over the years, it's quite obvious that he's not a shill. I mean, if he says he likes this, it's because he likes it. Now, you may disagree with him, but much like other words that get thrown around, shill gets thrown around a lot, and you know, it loses meaning the more you use it, the more you throw it around, the less it means. There are actual shills out there. Robert Myer Burnett, as someone who's been subscribed to him for several years now, I would definitely not say he's a shill. If he likes this season, and he says he likes this season, I don't think he's lying about it. But even if you think for some reason Robert Myer Burnett is lying about his enjoyment, I don't think that that's reasonable, but assuming you think that, there's another YouTuber, Dave Cullen, who's also been very critical of New Trek, and I've also been subscribed to him for many years. And much like Robert Myer Burnett, he has some takes that on other things that I don't necessarily agree with, but when it comes to Star Trek, I think he's pretty on point. I really like his Star Trek videos. But Dave Cullen was provided the first 6 episodes of the show. This is the first, as far as I know, in regards to New Trek, where Paramount and Terry Matalas sent out the first 6 episodes to multiple critics, even on YouTube. Now, I'm not big enough to get one of those preview copies, but regardless, he was given the first 6 episodes, and he's watched the first 6 episodes, and he said that it was enticing enough that he kept watching. He kept watching into the night because he wanted to see what was going to happen, and he liked it.
He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
So to me, if Robert Myer Burnett is saying this season is good, if Dave Cullen is saying this season is good, Dave Cullen had some more critical things that he didn't really want to get into as far as spoilers and stuff, but he definitely had some more critical eye on it than Robert Myer Burnett did. But overall, they both liked it, and that's a big leap from not liking New Trek at all. You know, feeling like New Trek is not Star Trek. So I think that this should get fans kind of excited to see season 3, and if season 3 actually ends up being good, that we talk about it and we talk about what we like about it and we support it because we want more of good Star Trek, right? That's all Star Trek fans want. I've been extremely critical of New Trek, and the reason why I'm critical of New Trek is because I'm a fan and I want Star Trek to be more of what Star Trek is, what it has been. You can change certain things, you can bend certain things within the universe, but you can only bend things so far before it starts to break. And I think New Trek has broken what Star Trek is. But can it be recovered? I don't know. That's a question that each of us is going to have to ask ourselves as Star Trek fans. There are some returning characters from Picard season 1 and season 2, so that's like a problem I have because I would just rather them all just disappear in the ether and never be talked about. But really the only main character who's coming back from season 1 and season 2, as far as what I can tell in the discussions and things that I've seen, is Rafi. Rafi was the worst of the new characters. So the fact that she's the one coming back, I think is pretty bad. Dave Cullen said in his video that she's almost likable in this season, and if that happens, Terry Matalas is some kind of master writer, because Rafi is a terrible character. I have riffed on that character ad nauseum in my Picard season 2 reviews. I do not like that character.
The worst. She's the worst in the world.
I have nothing against the actress playing Rafi. I think that she could portray a really interesting character from Jean-Luc Picard's life. However, the way she's been executed and written, there's nothing the actress can do about that. That's just the way that it was written. So I blame entirely the writing, not her. So if they can somehow twist her character around and make her likable or important to the plot in some kind of way, I guess that's fine. One of the things I really don't like about the character, outside of how, you know, selfish and narcissistic and all of the other terrible things about the character, is the way that she had this forced relationship with 7 of 9. In season 2, is terrible. I really don't like it. I think it ruins 7 of 9 as a character. 7 of 9 was my favorite character from Voyager, one of my favorite characters in Star Trek. But as I said, is it too little too late? That's all dependent on each person. Like for me personally, which is the only thing I can speak to, is there's 2 main things that this season has to do. One is it has to be good. Right? That's the most important thing. It has to be good. It has to be well-written science fiction that fits within the Star Trek universe, established Star Trek universe, not the dark nihilistic version of the Star Trek we've gotten from New Trek. So that's the core that it has to do. It just has to be well-written. It has to be good. Like that's pretty obvious, but something that's been lacking. And number 2, again, for me personally, how much does it stand on its own? How much does it stand on its own without dragging in the stuff that I don't like from Picard season 1 and season 2? Those are the 2 main things for me that it needs to do. Now, both Dave Cullen and Myer Burnett have said that you don't have to watch season 1 and season 2 to understand season 3. Again, that's a big plus. But here's a bonus point that I would say, a bonus number 3 point. If this somehow manages to fix some of the damage from the previous season, that's just icing on top of the cake. Like, that's the bonus, okay? I don't see how they could do that, but if there's something put in there, you know, that'd be nice. I don't expect all of these things to happen, but if it manages to hit those main 2 points of standing on its own, being well written, and being true to the characters and fitting in the Star Trek universe, those are my main points. That's really all I want. Maybe that's asking too much, but that's what I would like to see from Picard season 3.
He wants the impossible.
I personally don't blame anybody for giving up on Picard and New Trek. There's only so many chances that fans are gonna give a franchise before they throw their hands up and give up. Like, that's happened with me with things that I really like Game of Thrones, right? That final season, when that came out, that destroyed my love of Game of Thrones. I still have not been able to go back and watch that show since that final season, but House of the Dragon won me over. And House of the Dragon has a brand new creative team and showrunners who wanted to say something within that established universe. House of Dragon was really good. I've watched it twice all the way through, and that's something that I would not have guessed, because I gave up on Game of Thrones. So I do think that if new creative teams are brought in, it is possible for them to salvage a broken franchise. So maybe that's the case here. Maybe Terry Matalas is going to give us something that kind of unites people who like New Trek, because there are some people who like New Trek. I don't really get it, but there are people who like it. We could unite around Picard season 3. It could happen.
Hey, it could happen.
We will soon find out one way or the other, as Picard season 3 does premiere this Thursday, February 16th. I will be reviewing each episode just like I did with Picard season 2 and the Orville. Picard season 2 I did not like doing those reviews. I mean, they were kind of fun in the sense that I was able to vent my frustrations out there. But I preferred reviewing something like the Orville, something I actually liked. I still had critiques about that show, but overall I really liked Orville season 3. So, you know, I'm hoping Picard season 3 is good. I'm going into it with cautiously optimistic mentality. That's how I'm going into it. Despite the amount of times New Trek has disappointed me, I still hold a fool's hope that, it can claw its way back, that it'll go back to what Star Trek is at its core, which is something that New Trek is lacking. New Trek I associate with nihilism. That is not Star Trek. Star Trek is optimism. Optimism for a brighter future.
Because it's an optimistic view of the future. Everything else that we see is so pessimistic and so dark and so nihilistic. And this shows a positive portrayal of what could be in the future. And I think people need that and want that.
But what do you guys think? Again, I don't blame anybody for giving up on this and saying, I'm done with New Trek. I totally understand it. I totally get it. That I'm not to that level yet. At least with a new showrunner, I want to give him another chance. If Shaban and Goldsman and Kurtzman were involved in this season creatively, then I don't know if I would even watch it. Star Trek is in that weird phase right now where there is a chance to kind of pull it back from the brink depending on who's creatively holding the reins. I haven't given up on Star Trek yet.
Just a fool's hope.
What do you guys think? Are you checking out Picard Season 3? Let me know in the comments below. I will be throwing up my first review on Friday. That's what I'm going to shoot for. It airs on Thursday. The videos will go up on Friday. Thank you all for checking out this video. Thank you, subscribers. All of you are awesome. And if you like this video, please like, comment, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube stuff, or don't. I'm not a beggar. I'm Geechu64, and I always tell you the truth.